everyone. I am Troy from Marks on Games, and with me today is Greg. What's up, Greg?
What's up?
We are talking a little bit about Nintendo Direct that just happened last night, or on Wednesday, I should say. And there was some big stuff that went on. Real quick, before we cover it, though, I do want to ask all of you to please like this video, share it around to everyone you know, and leave a comment down below, and subscribe to the channel. And click the bell to be notified every time we post stuff, which is pretty much every damn day. So you'll get new stuff all the time. But now that we've covered that, let's get into Nintendo Direct here. You were saying last night that you think this may be the biggest one ever, right?
I've watched them all since the launch of the Switch, and I thought this was the best one, so far.
There was a decent amount of stuff that got announced. Some of it was
some of the crazy stuff.
Others.
Some of the craziest things was like 3 things that were announced came out right after it ended, which I didn't see coming at all.
What were some of them? The ones you said just happened?
The Game Boy Advance, and Metroid Prime all came out right after.
Yeah, Metroid Prime, you were saying was on your wish list, but you weren't necessarily expecting, right?
Yeah, that was my top thing. Yeah, when they announced it, I almost lost it. I had that game on the GameCube. It's amazing.
And you can download it right now on
Nintendo
Nintendo
Store. Stores on the 22nd, I believe, physical.
Gotcha. Yeah, I remember that game because I had a GameCube. I didn't play it a whole lot, but I do remember that was a big thing when I had the GameCube years ago. And like you had mentioned with the Game Boy, how you can go to the stores and get the what is it called with the expansion or whatnot?
I think it's just called Nintendo's online expansion. Yeah, because online is $20 a year, $50 a year for the expansion.
Okay,
but that $50 a year is totally worth it.
If you get that, you can get old games from. You get the library from the NES, SNES, Genesis, and the N64, and now you can get Game Boy and Game Boy Advanced. And like you had just mentioned while we were talking earlier, you found out you can switch from regular Game Boy to Game Boy Color.
Yeah, it's kind of hidden in the options. If you got to play around with the options, which I'm a stickler for in every game. Always want to see what else you can do.
What are some of the games that came out for the Game Boy and Game Boy Advance?
Here. I'm gonna pull it up. I have the Switch on right now. I'm gonna pull it up. The Game Boy Advance has Kururin. I don't know what the hell that is. It looks like a puzzle game. Zelda the Minish Cap, amazing game. Mario Luigi Superstar Saga, great game. WarioWare 8, that was a fun game. Mario Kart Super Circuit, and Mario Advance 4, which is the original Super Mario Brothers 3 on the old NES. Which I told you earlier, that now makes it that game's on 3 of these virtual consoles, which is crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
It's on Game Boy. It's actually has its own game on NES, and it's on Mario All Stars on the SNES. Kind of funny.
That's freaking sweet. Yeah, pretty much any Mario and Mario Kart game you want, you can play on the Switch. But yeah, I'm
gonna pull up Game Boy now and see what they are.
You were saying you were wanting that, but you weren't necessarily expecting that last night.
I was expecting a new Mario game, which a brand new Mario game, period, but it didn't happen.
Yeah.
On the Game Boy / Game Boy Color, we got Alone in the Dark, New Nightmare, Game & Watch Gallery. If you don't know what that is, it's one of those old handheld games that look like I forget the name of the company. It's like the little handheld games. It's like white. It's got a few buttons on there and looks all pixelated.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what Game & Watch is. There's a Gargoyles game, Kirby's Dream Land, which is fantastic. Tetris, which for some reason you got giddy over. Super Mario Land, 6 Golden Coins. I hated that game as a kid because it was kind of hard for me. Metroid 2, The Return of Samus, which I believe I have on the DS because it was remade into a DS game.
Huh.
And then Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening, Wario Land 3. Pretty solid lineup to launch the system. I thought it was great.
So does this mean that like every single Zelda game is now on there?
Not every single one of them, but like vast majority of the old NES, Super NES ones up to Game Boy.
Nice.
And then there's the 64 ones. The 64 Zelda Ocarina of Time's on there. No, there's still no. What was that one on the GameCube?
Majora's
Cell
Mask?
Shape. That might have been on there, but not that one.
Yeah.
It's the one that's cell shaded.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, I was gonna say
What's the name of that
Majora's Mask
game?
is on there.
I think it's being remade actually.
Oh, okay.
See if I can find it. I think it's coming. I think it is coming to Switch. It's going to be a remake. It's not going to be on the Virtual Console. Zelda: The Wind Waker. That's what I was thinking of.
Oh, okay. One of the games I saw announced. I don't know if you get into these at all. I know a lot of people do, and it was in the these games were in the news lately. But it looks like they're coming out with a new Bayonetta game, and it looks like a
Yeah, it's
prequel.
an Origins game, I believe, right?
Yeah, she's gonna be younger, so
Bayonetta 3, I have played. It's really fun.
well, that's also gonna. If they haven't come up with a good replacement for the voice actress yet, they just get a younger actress there because they're going back in time, and it's a cool origin story there if you're into the Bayonetta games, and it'll hold you over until anything else comes out.
This game,
It's
Deca Police, looked pretty good.
Oh yeah, I know before. I don't know if this was part of the showcase, but I know beforehand they were kind of showing off gameplay from Pikmin 2.
4.
4, okay. So, and you were
I've never
saying
played
like
the Pikmin game, so I probably won't play that.
I did on I want to say GameCube. I played one, just because I think I either rented it or my friend did or something like that. It was okay, but like you said, you don't care about it, but it's going to sell like 1 million copies. So, and then the thing you and I really cared about was they showed off a lot of gameplay from the next Zelda game, Tears of the Kingdom.
I think that could be the biggest game of the entire year overall.
Yeah. The
if not
only game.
Starfield.
Yeah, Starfield is another one. I was going to say the only other one I would think would have competition this year with it would be Hogwarts Legacy, because that's already sold a bazillion copies and selling more. And it's still got to sell some whenever, if ever, it truly does launch for the last gen and then for Switch. So it's going to be a lot of copies of Zelda definitely being sold. I don't even think I'm halfway through Breath of the Wild, so it's going to be a while before I get it, but it looks damn good. Breath of the Wild is fun as hell, so I can imagine this one will, and it looks great. So if you're a Zelda fan, it's a definite must buy. Yeah, it was all in all, it was a pretty damn good Nintendo Direct. And this comes, did E3, is that supposed to be coming up?
That's in June usually.
Okay. Yeah, and this comes after Nintendo pulled out of E3. So,
Everybody pulled out of E3.
right. The only thing that's left is like what, PC and
Third
a
party
couple of
games.
indie places. Yeah. So, yeah, Nintendo said, we got enough stuff on our own. And I think they're right. They did pretty well without having to go through E3 to do it. So,
Oh, there's Nintendo Direct, there's Xbox Showcase, and PlayStation. Or is it PlayStation Showcase? I don't know what Xbox's is called.
yeah,
They called their last one Direct, I believe.
really.
I think so. I had the word Direct in it, I believe. Yeah.
Huh.
But it just goes to show they don't need E3 anymore.
Yep. There you go. Kind of from a nostalgic point, it kind of sucks, but hey, last night you and I got to sit there on YouTube and see the Nintendo Direct and get all that showcase right then and there. Didn't have to worry about it. But good times ahead for Nintendo, and good times right now for Nintendo. Like you had mentioned, some stuff launched just last night. Metroid Prime is available if you want to download that.
And it is one of the better looking Nintendo Switch games I've ever seen, by the way. This is a remaster of a GameCube game. That's insane to say.
Yeah, it looked really
It
good.
looks amazing.
I've never played it before, like I said, but I might have to get that and download it and play it here soon. And
To my knowledge, it's the first ever first person Metroid. If it's not, it's the first one I ever played.
Nice.
It's like for so many years, Metroid was just the side-scrolling 2D game, which I still love to this day because Metroid Dread is an amazing game on the Switch.
And then for all of you Game Boy fans out there, you can play Game Boy games and Game Boy Advance games, and yeah, that's available right now if you got the Nintendo Online stuff. There you go. Thank you all for tuning in and checking it out, and we'll keep up with us for all the latest. We'll try to keep you up to date. And don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, click the little bell to be notified. Also, share this around to everyone you know. Comment if you watched Nintendo Direct and what you think about all the stuff they showcased, and what you're most excited for. And if you've already played some of the Game Boy stuff or Metroid and what you thought of it. And we've been Troy and Greg for Marks on Games. We'll see you next time.